Alrighty, so we're recording again, so, everything that we just said about Joe Craig, let's repeat that, okay? I kid. Welcome, everybody, if you're watching this. This is the awareness group meeting, the monthly awareness group meeting. We did not have one last month because it happened to fall onto the period of time that we were, I think when we were at DNN Connect, right? Am I wrong about that? Anybody? I think it was. Anyway, we had to cancel because of some reason. Thank you for everybody and then we had to cancel last week because in the United States, at least, it was the 4th of July. Well, it was the 4th of July everywhere, but that happens to be a holiday for us, so we moved it to today. So thank you for being flexible with the meeting, those of you that are able to attend. So this is the attendee list so far. Did I miss anybody? Feel free to speak up. Alrighty. One thing I would want to point out is since Clint Patterson is, just on his own in a whole other thing, and he's just a regular community member, all of a sudden he's wearing hats to meetings.
Well, I mean, I had that on earlier. I can remove.
I don't care if you do. And we got Philip Cox just joined. There we go. All right, so we got the attendee list. So our monthly agenda: review primary goals, progress since last meeting, set goals for next month if we need to, especially for new ones. Review long-term goals and open forum. So this is our format that we generally follow from month to month. If anybody ever wants to change anything about this, feel free to let us know, and we'll it's our group, it's not my group. So Tiho's trying to reconnect. And what else am I missing here? Yeah, David, this is built in too. I just have to add it to the desktop. So that's a reference for y'all. Like I was before the meeting talking about a do not disturb feature as well on my phone. All right. Anyhow, primary individual goals. Just some of the things that we talk about on a regular basis for each of us as an individual. Keep in constant contact. We use Slack primarily for that, but as a group for strategic things. But we have other ways to do this as well, as we'll look at through this meeting. Another thing is to co-champion or champion something. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spend your entire day working on anything. It just means that out of all of our goals, either choose to here comes Tiho, choose to either lead it or help one of the leaders, so that way we can continue to get forward progress and traction. And to that end, one of the things I always is my mantra: do at least 2 things a month. It sounds like an easy achievement, and before you know it, you might be doing 6 things a month and realize that it's not a whole lot of time. So those could be small, they could be big. It's completely up to you. And then help us generate a snowball effect. So that's generally kind of a recruitment thing. So letting other people know that they can do things like blog or create videos or generate social posts, whatever it happens to be, empowering the rest of the community to do what we're doing, so that way we're not having to do everything. So these are our areas of focus. I'm expecting over the next couple months that we might massage this a little bit and change it. So we'll figure that out as we move forward. But right now, as it stands, our areas include user group programs. So bringing that back to the website and making that an official feature once again. So making sure that user groups can post and generate activity and recruit and so on. And then increasing social activity. So that's exactly what it sounds: increasing the number of posts, and not only posts but comments, likes, reposts, those types of things. And then blogs, so same thing, increasing that. I'm very happy to say, if you were on Slack right before this meeting, I'm very happy to say that we are killing it right now with blogs. We had technically 11, but it's really 10 blog posts just over the past month. And so that's fantastic, and that's just on the community website. And for those of you watching, if you're not familiar with the community website, that is the DNNcommunity.org website. So it's by the community, for the community. We'll get to that later. YouTube videos and tutorials. We got some sad news that we'll go over in that one. But that's generating more videos. They don't necessarily need to be just on YouTube. In fact, the more we diversify over different platforms, the better. Creating training courses. So putting materials out there where people can go through an official training regimen. Creating curriculum, so that's for schools, so helping get DNN into the hands of students before they get into the workforce. And increasing number of new or updated open source extensions. And let's see here, the .com and .org website effort. So we'll probably spend a lot of our time on that because we've had so much activity there. Let's see here. Creating more open source themes, especially open source themes that take advantage of contemporary methods and standards. Community dashboard. Wow, yeah, we have a lot to talk about here. And then the speaker program. So that's kind of a complement to the user group program. So providing an area on the website that speakers can solicit their themselves and their materials, kind of open source canned presentations for user groups to use and other speakers to use, as well as for user groups to find speakers and vice versa. So those are our areas of championing. And that, like I said, this is something that will probably change over the upcoming months. All right. Any questions about those areas? Not about any particular update, but just about our areas that we champion right now? No? Okay. And it's glad to have you back on, Joe. Can we hear you now?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Maybe. Yes, we can hear you. Fine.
Would you rather not hear me?
I would never say no. It's always good to hear you, Joe. All right. So let's get through some of our areas. So increasing social activity. So this is something that we haven't had a champion for because it's kind of in limbo. Because one of the things that may take over this and kind of make it irrelevant is forward progress at the dashboard. And I would venture to say that we're kind of still in that state, so to speak. I don't. But if somebody wants to champion this, and so championing this, somebody named Carl joined. If you do want to champion that effort, feel free to let me know. And what that means is it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the person doing all the social activity, but you're helping everybody else do that. There's a plan for it. Here's how we're going to increase social activity across, the entire community and ecosystem. The first part's the plan. The second part's to, help delegate to do these things. Any questions about the social activity? Nope. All right. Blogs. So since the last one, I didn't pre-fill this like I did last month. So this is all material from last month. Not last month, 2 months ago. But we've had a ton of activity. Is this one? No, this is one. Yes. All right. Ton of activity. So we got new Azure Active Directory B2C provider for DNN platform. David Rodriguez posted that. Whoever added him as a blogger on here, thank you. Awesome. Oops, I meant to close that. Didn't follow my own advice. All right. Let's see here. If you haven't noticed, I don't know who that is. Tower Shower 9? Anyway, if you haven't already noticed, DNN MVPs, the nomination period is open. So that ends August 1st, I believe. Am I right about that, Clint?
Yep, it's 1 month, July 1st to August 1st.
All right, so you have just over 2 more weeks to submit your nominations. Is there anything you wanted to highlight about that, maybe, Clint?
Well, I mean, we put it in there, but basically, you do not have to nominate someone who is already an MVP because current MVPs are just automatically up for voting. So.
All right. Excellent. Does anybody have any questions about that particular post while we have Clint on? No? All right. And to that end, part of the purpose for the meeting is to give everybody updates, but the other part is for you to also be able to, we're the awareness group, so you also to be able to make everybody else aware of it. So feel free to blog or post any of the information that we're talking about and putting out there. A person is a tag. Interesting. So a new website for DNN Summit. David Poindexter, I think you had leaded up that effort, right?
Yeah, I leaded up that effort.
Yeah, I know. I created a word. Go ahead. So could you let everybody know what happened?
Yeah, basically we, not a whole lot aesthetically has changed on the website except for a few enhancements, but we as events have evolved over the years, you can only imagine how these websites are managed for these events, and it kind of becomes spaghetti over time. So we've really rethought and re-engineered, if you will, the way that the theme works and content within the site. And now we're able to more effectively manage that site moving forward in a very systematic way. So that is the new site being launched there, and it's performing really great.
Excellent. And I think you had some performance statistics on it, didn't you? Isn't there some sort of some level of improvement on the page loads or something like that?
Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement, but yeah, absolutely. I don't remember the numbers right off the top of my head, but I think the mobile scores on Google PageSpeed Insights prior to the upgrade of the theme was around the teens, and now it is up where it needs to be in the 80s, I believe. So. And then the desktop is at 99, I believe. So it's doing really great.
Outstanding. Good stuff. Thank you, David. Forums in the late 2010s, Peter. So we've had some discussions about, we already have forums on the website. And by the way, the forums are doing fantastic. Oh, not these ones. There's only been 4 posts on the old website, but I have this up just to let everybody know that there's a message on all of the community pages. But what I wanted to do is no, I guess I didn't have a tab open for that. Let everybody know that the forums are having a ton of activity. So it's been a very cool effort. There's a couple posts about DNN Connect, so some recaps and structured content options. So on the community website. So we can talk about that later. Some other things about using Let's Encrypt, and then a welcome to the new community website. So we have a bunch of blogs, so feel free to, one of the things about the blogs is, for anybody who's writing them, adding comments. It looks like most of these do have comments, which is awesome. Adding comments is super helpful to the authors, so, feel free to do that. Is there any other blogs anybody wanted to highlight?
Well, I've got a question just about this. Maybe this is a good place to ask it. Should we go ahead and start, if we have blogged previously on DNNsoftware.com, should we go ahead and put those cross-posted on here with the old dates on the new site, or what is the thought on that?
So I would say that that would be a decision that each individual author should make on their own. I don't think that's something that we necessarily need to just import. So if you feel like your posts specifically should be cross-posted, feel free. And if you're not familiar with what cross-posting means, let's see here. I think mine might have it. Cross-posting means that you basically have the same content. It might be massaged a little bit to fit in with the theme of the other website. But when you get to the bottom of it, and it's important for it to be at the bottom because of how RSS works. If it's at the top, then this will become the most important piece of content. But this is the most important piece of content for things like Google. If they can tell that you've cross-posted, there's a message here that says this blog post is cross-posted from wherever. And the term cross-posted is linked to wherever the original content is, and that helps us not get dinged a little bit by the respective search engines that are indexing content. So that's what cross-posting means, just in case you're not aware. Any other questions about blogs? Or any other updates? There's a question about what module is being used for the blog posts on the community website. And so there's this. So I guess we're going to blur a lot into the community website. It's such a big deal right now. So basically, we're using what we have often referred to in the past as core modules first and foremost. Whenever we're using, whenever we're deploying content on the website, and if there isn't a core module, so to speak, then we're choosing an open source module. Period. And if that doesn't exist, then we need to figure out another way to do it. We're not putting any commercial modules on there. That's a long way to answer your question, but the answer is we're using the core blog module on this. And there's been a lot of work on not just this, but everything else, but I'll save what I was about to say there for that section. So there's a section for that at the end. Let's see here. Blogs. Any other questions about blogs? All right. All right, videos and tutorials. So here's where some sad news is. I don't know how many people, I didn't watch it to the end. I just haven't had a chance to finish the video yet. But I guess Addison's not going to be creating as much video content. Is that right?
Yeah. Addison has gotten heavily involved in a teaching career, and I think he just does not have the bandwidth to continue what he's been doing. We had our last monthly session a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Also, regarding that, the Toronto area group, the TADOG, might become the CANOG or something, like the Canadian group. Maybe a few people that used to be there will split the effort and make a Canadian user group.
Yeah, you know what would be interesting is if whoever leads it up or co-leads it or leads it together or whatnot, there's an opportunity there for what Europe used to do is there used to be a European user group, and they'd meet once a year in person, but the rest of the time it was just like however they communicated, right? So
I guess it's
opportunity for Canada.
CADOG or CANDOG or I don't know, but something, I don't know. It's just an idea that came out with maybe some people.
Oh, Canadug.
Canadug.
This sounds good. I don't know.
Yeah.
A can of what?
That's good to hear, though. I was wondering about the user group. And it would be interesting to see if somebody picks up the helm of kind of a monthly DNN news thing. To that end, I forgot to mention that there's the DNN Hangouts. We have 2 that are in the can. I just haven't finished the editing for them yet. So I'm missing. I was supposed to deploy one this past month, and I did not, just because I've just been catching up since missing out almost 2 weeks of work between events and traveling and everything. So yeah. 2 DNN Hangouts ready to finish being edited. All right, I'm missing some comments in the Peanut Factory.
Another thing regarding videos, I created a YouTube channel, DNN Development Channel, on which I live stream when I can share something that's open source, and I basically just stream while working on stuff. When I can. There's been not much advertisement about it, so there hasn't been much people, but and I have strange hours, so I'm streaming at strange times, but anyway, that exists.
Yeah, that looks interesting. I've seen I've seen you a little bit, but I had to leave almost immediately one time, and then I watched Andrew for a little bit as well. yes, David and John will talk about that and much more, I'm sure. That looks fun. Is that fun?
What do you mean? If it's fun to stream?
Yeah, the like stream you working on DNN stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it anyway, and I already talk to myself, so now I'm talking to the microphone. So it's just one more button.
Well, we learned something new about Daniel. Interesting. Okay. Any other updates on videos and tutorials? Alrighty. New and updated extensions. So I mentioned that there's going to be a lot of bleeding in different areas, or maybe blending is a better word. Yeah, blending is a much better word. Blending over. So there is a temporary Forge module on the new communities website. So you can find that under community and resources. Extension library. I'm sorry, it's extension library. So you click on extension library, you go to the Forge. So this is just porting over the same thing that was on the DNN Connect website for now. But there's plans to add the Forge feature back here, which will add the Forge back into the platform itself eventually. So we have plans in motion on that. Daniel, I'm sure you haven't been able to work on that recently because there's a lot of stuff to do with platform, but do you happen to have an update for us on the Forge?
No. I have a couple things on my list, and I keep moving priorities, and getting rid of Telerik on the core modules has gone above the Forge project in priorities. And there might be some nice stuff coming for module development that might benefit the Forge, so yeah, it kind of got lower than the priorities.
Such a tease.
Yep.
Sounds good. It will be great.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Any other updates for new and updated extensions?
Well, I don't know if you want to include the extensions that I created for the .org site.
Let's mention it now, but let's not actually go into detail on that until we get to your part. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
So go ahead and tell them what you did.
Well, so I've created so far 3 open source modules for the .org site, and those are available under the DNN community organization on GitHub. I don't know if they're listed in the Forge module yet, but they'll be there eventually. But it's the stuff that's on the visitors online and the community dashboard and the web analytics pages. Those are all open source and available to people to download and play with.
So this is all over the world that people have been visiting the website over the past day. We're able to display that. And the other thing you mentioned was what did you say, website metrics?
Yeah, and I did notice this one's got a little bug in it where this top graph is not displaying, and I think it's because it's trying to render before the data is there. So I'm going to try and figure out why that's not working. But
yeah, so there's a lot of information that we're able to work with. Another thing is the dashboard. So we can not only see, what the leader is over a specific time period, but we can also look through and let's see here. Where's David? There he is. Oh, he's number 2. Look at him. We can also see how did they get to that point, which is something we didn't have in the previous leaderboard that was on the previous website that has been missing for a while. We weren't able to see how that happened. But we'll get into more detail about this in a little bit. But yeah, Jay has done some amazing work transitioning some of those community modules to use Angular for one, but get them ready for the website. So thank you for your efforts on that, Jay.
yeah, absolutely. And then I got right now I'm working on the showcase module, and Up next after that is the partners module. And then there is a personalization module that Sean donated. I'm going to try and there's also a user groups module that are becoming in the next couple of weeks or two.
Yeah, you and I should get together on the user groups one. How is the structured content, like, have you been able to do anything with that? Because, like, you've been pretty intense on the website.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of on hold right now because I've been all this other stuff, but I was just thinking about that this morning. There's a bunch of stuff I want to get back and get heads down on that again because there's some stuff I want to do with that. So I would like to get some more time to work on that.
Indeed. So let's put this on the other one. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay. We don't have is there any other updates for new and updated extensions? No? All right. Curriculum, we don't have champions at this meeting for this. Lucas doesn't appear to be in attendance. He's usually giving us an update here. Training courses, same thing here. But apparently we talk about DNN Docs here a little bit. So Clint, David, did you want to say anything about DNN Docs here today?
Yeah, we got our first meetup happening today, actually. That is opening it up to the public to get involved and learn more. That is at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Will, I saw you deleted the best practices section there.
Yeah, that's from last month.
Yeah, I know, but I'm wondering regarding the docs about two things. One, writing a best practices document, and another one would be, you know, the developer quick start series that used to be in the wiki. Could we do that in the docs, and could we have something of a branch aside for, let's say, what's going to be new in DNN 10, and then we can publish that page? How would that work?
Yeah, it's a great thing to talk about at today's meetup. Are you going to be able to join?
Yes.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, that's actually
we'll get in details there.
Yeah, that's a really good point because you know we got only so much time for this meeting. But yeah, anybody wants to contribute to the docs, there is a contribution page when you go there. It tells you how to contribute, and you know basically it's like it's an open source website that's built on the efforts that everybody can puts forth on GitHub. So you know one of the things is if you want a piece of content that you're not sure if it should be there, you can always create an issue to discuss that, right? But yeah. Any other updates for training courses? All right. Themes. Tracy's not here, but does anybody else have any other theme updates? Excuse me.
Yes, 2.1.0 of MB Quick Theme. Thanks for the cue.
Where's my period? There we go. So I happened to watch what was released. I happened to watch your video on that. I didn't read through all of your release notes, but one of the things I noticed on that was the browser sync, to where when you made an update to your development environment in terms of code, your website would automatically refresh to reflect that change, which was pretty cool. So like sometimes it would be already finished loading by the time you switch over to the window. So that's a pretty amazing feature that could be super powerful for theme developers. Was there any other updates that are worth calling out?
Yeah, I mean, there were quite a few, and I'm sorry I don't have the list right in front of me, but that was the big one, is browser sync. And I think, let's see, yeah, now we're following what's considered as a best practice with Bootstrap. It is actually being imported into the theme so that you can utilize the Bootstrap variables and do your own mix-ins and things like that. And the compilation of all of your SAS, including Bootstrap, is compiled in one bundle at the end. So that should open up the door for a lot more flexibility for those that want to leverage some more powerful Bootstrap use.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Does anybody else have any other theme updates? No?
SVG support too, David.
I'm so sorry. What did you say?
SVG support.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Thanks to a contribution from Mr. Veladas.
I love SVGs. Oh, you don't have to mention me. Just that's another thing that got added in that list.
Speaker program needs a champion again. So if you're interested in this, we have a channel for this. If you're not added to it, feel free to add yourself in Slack. And so if you're interested in doing this and you're not sure how to, and this goes for any other area, if you're interested in one of these areas and you want to figure out how to help, feel free to jump in the channel and ask. And so, we can, I'll help you. Anybody else that has time will help you as well, figure out how to move forward with any of these particular areas. All right. User group program. I did create that video. That did not help.
It was a good idea, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was a try. So if you're not aware, I created a video to be like, hey, here's an area where you can help. Basically, all we need is a developer to build it. And then I created a blog post to highlight that video, and crickets. So we'll figure out some more ideas. We just need to, somebody that has time to build, because the main idea is there's just so many people that can come to these meetings, but we're also, the people that come to these particular types of meetings, we're also already doing a lot of other stuff across the ecosystem. But there's a lot of people out there that aren't aware because they don't attend these meetings, and maybe they don't even have time to watch the videos, but they really want to write code. Helping them know and be aware that something like this is ready for them to do. We just need them to do it. So if you want to share that, maybe this is a good one to cross-post into the website, actually, David. This is actually something I might put on my list to do. But yeah, if you know of a developer out there that's not as active, maybe in the forums, we don't know who they are or whatever, this is something that we can get built by somebody like that. So feel free to keep your ears open.
Hey, Will,
we should give it to Jay. He's our new Mikey for the community, right?
Well, I was going to ask, yeah, Sean donated this groups module, and I haven't dug into it yet, but isn't that what this is supposed to do, this module that Sean donated?
That's why I said you and I need to sync up on that particular module, because the module he gave you doesn't do anything that this one does.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take a look at the wireframes you've got. I can probably, rework whatever he's got and make it look like what you want.
So at some point this week or next week, you and I should just get together and have like a real quick meeting, and I'll walk you through what there is. And also walk you through what Sean provided you as well.
Sounds good.
All right. Cool. Any other questions on the user group program? All righty. Community dashboard. Jay, I'm gonna just say, you know what, we're going to talk about this in the community website part. See community website slide. Next. We're going to just talk about the .com.org effort all in one. So Jay and Tiho, this is your time to shine if Tiho and has fixed his mic. So, well, first of all, before I get there, I do want to, there's a ton of people that have helped, and I'm going to miss people, and I'm sorry about that, but Timo, Tiho, Jay, David, and I know there's more. Your efforts behind helping not only launch but stabilize and prettify. I know that's not a word. But all these things that all this activity that's been contributed over the last month and a half, 2 months, or actually even more than that, to get this website launched and get it functioning and as popular already as it is. thank you so much for all the time you put into that. So that thank you cannot be said enough. So I really appreciate your time and effort towards that. And to that end, Jay and Tiho, please, whatever updates you have, this is your time.
Oh boy. Okay, so specific to the .org site, I guess the biggest things are just the modules that we've launched: the dashboard module, the visitors online module, and the web analytics. I guess we call it web metrics pages. Those have been added to the website, and those are just. Let's just go through them. The dashboard module, I guess, is a way for us to track activity that community members are doing within DNN. So right now it's integrated with GitHub, Twitter, Stack Overflow, the core blog module, the core forums module, and then it has the ability also to assign points for manual activities. So if you're doing something like you hosting the DNN Summit or something like that, that's kind of a one-off thing. We can award points for that. So that's on the community dashboard module. Yeah, and there's a list of all the things. The list right there is all the things that are actively being automatically tracked. So the manual activity won't show up in that list, but the things that are basically running every day, there's a little scheduler job that runs every day and goes out to GitHub and Stack Overflow and looks for new activity. On the web metrics page, again, that top graph is currently not showing something properly, so I got to go and figure out what's going on with that. But basically, that's just tracking the number of unique views, visits, visitors, and registered users over time. And then it also is using the 51 degrees DLL and also a Maxmind GeoIP DLL to track where visitors are coming from and get statistics about their devices that they're using and things like that. So that's where the bottom graph is showing that. Yeah, there we go, web metrics page. And you can kind of slice and dice the information to see dates and pages, popular pages, users that are on the site a lot.
California.
Yeah, looks like Timo and Michael are right now are the big users right now, so they're on here all the time. And I thought it was kind of interesting, just if you look at the pages breakdown, by far the most popular page is the forums page. I mean, it's over 50% of our traffic, and then the home page is second, and then after that it's a blog. So I thought it was kind of interesting that the big, and I kind of made this comment before on the Slack channel, is I think that the quality of the forums module that was on the old .com site was so poor that it possibly led to some of the decline in the popularity of DNN. And I'm hoping that now we're seeing this huge uptick in our forums activity that I think that may lead to better adoption. People will see that, hey, this is an active and vibrant community. So that's my hope there. And then the last one is the visitors online page, which is just a Google map that's tracking where people are coming from. And you can slice and dice that by the time window that you want to look at. So the default is 10 minutes, but you could expand it out to 1 day if you want to, and it'll add little pins for where people were coming from. So that's the .com, that's the .org effort. The .com site, I think we probably need to have some strategic discussions, maybe offline, about what we want to do with that, because I think there's some discussions that need to be had on what we want to do with that going forward.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay. Tiho, is your mic working? And are you still here? Or have you had too much wine? It looks like he's maybe not on anymore.
I don't think he's online anymore.
Oh well. Yeah, so Tiho's been doing a lot of work as well on the website. So if you haven't already created your user account, please do that. If you know of people that haven't created a user account, please do that. I'll let them know. If you want to blog, all you have to do is ask. We'll put you on there. Anything that you want to do on the website, feel free to ask either in Slack or in the forums. There's actually a forum for that. So the forums have most of the relevant forums that were on the previous website. It just happens to work a lot better now. But there's an About This Website area, so if there's things about the website that you'd like to discuss in terms of maybe this should work that way, or can we do this, or can I do this, any of those types of things, feel free to go there and add a forum post there, and you can get started. But there's forums. Oh, that's a good point, David. Thank you. If you are an MVP, please update your user profile to include your details, so that way, when the MVP's page, when you look at your listing, it has all the information. So, you can add information to get to all of your relevant areas of your contribution listed. So, like Matt, we need to talk to Matt, for example, and then as well as it shows your profile photo. So we need to encourage each other to get these things updated. So there's only a handful of people that haven't finished their profile yet, which is good. This guy, he's all slacking and some middle of nowhere place on vacation with his family with no internet. Jeez.
I think he's on the sea or something, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And what else? And the profiles are actually looking good on this website too. So if you were to view somebody's profile, even if they're not an MVP, it's worth their time to update the profile because when they click through on you on like the forums or something like that, it gives you an opportunity to say who you are and what you do and who you do it for or whatever, however you want to represent you and your personal brand. What else is new and needing to be talked about on the website?
Quick question. How is that sorted? How is that MVP list sorted? Is it just random?
Random. Yes.
It's actually random, and I find it completely funny how it came up with Will in mind first as we were talking about it. That is so funny. But it's random.
Yeah, every page load, it sorts it a different way.
All right, cool.
So nobody's more important than the other. That's the important part. We're a community family.
One thing I was just a suggestion is maybe add like a country filter at the top, just so that if people are looking for somebody in my area and say, hey, I need somebody in Canada, or whatever, show me the MVPs in Canada.
Well, that's a great idea.
There's a
same for agencies.
There's a GitHub area for that to be added as an issue, right?
Actually, no.
Oh yeah, because this isn't a module. This is using Too Sexy. That's right.
Well, Too Sexy is a module, so.
No, I'm sorry. but posting the issue there will help.
Oh yeah. But that being said, my question was going to be, this is configured as a Too Sexy app, so theoretically we could put that on a GitHub and let it be managed that way.
There you go.
Let me give that a little bit of thought and try to figure out where that needs to go.
Awesome. This is how great ideas are born. All right. I love Andrew's photo. Look at him. That's great. All right. Am I missing any other updates? Oh, so there is a display name bug issue that we've run into. With a very specific configuration of DNN, when you go to update your profile, you can run into an issue to where it says your display name is incorrect. Excuse me, not incorrect. It's already in use, but it may not be. It may not literally already be in use. And so what we found is that it's a little tricky. You have to update your profile a couple times, and one of the times you need to change your display name to literally anything else that you feel like, even random characters. And then once you update your profile with the relevant information, like maybe you're adding Stack Overflow or something like that, so that way you can get points in the community. Because your profile is directly tied to the leaderboard, the dashboard. So update your profile with all the relevant information, and then you'll start to get the credit from these different areas. but the once you update your profile with that additional information, then go back and just change your display name. So it's a little tricky. It's a bug we found in DNN, and it's logged in the DNN platform issues. So, but it's also very tricky to duplicate on a clean instance. So we're trying to figure out how to get that fixed. All right. I think that's it for. And if anybody wants to, be in charge of updating any of these particular areas in the website, feel free. We have permissions on here. Everybody's more than welcome to help contribute their efforts. So, all you have to do is raise your hand. All right. Now, wow, we got 9 minutes left. Look at us. Any other questions about the .com.org website effort? Nope. All right. No news is good news. Is that what they say? All right. Monthly goals. So we're killing this. That's a good thing. Not sure how we're going to fare moving forward with creating new videos and tutorials. And I have a feeling I want to remove YouTube from there, but it is the most prevalent one out there. Our goals are, wow, Q1, 29. We're not there. What are we in? Q2? 3? Are we in 3 already? Jeez. We have been killing it also with open source extensions. So these are just our goals as a group. So if there's anything that you want to do to help with any of these areas, please feel free to do so. And then our long-term goals are basically the same. You do the math. Now we're here at the open forum. So the open forum, we have 2 parts. We're going to have the part that's recorded, and then we'll stop the recording for anything that you feel like you don't want to have on the recording. So to that end, with the open forum, anybody have any topics that you feel like you would like to discuss? Feel free. Well, that's just weird. Nobody wants to talk?
I'll talk. I'd like, but it's already, the subject is already started. I guess it's just nobody got to it. But the points awarded for the what is it? The dashboard. Is it in the dashboard? It's like everything is 1 point, and a blog post is 10 points. And there's stuff that's way easier and stuff that's way harder than others. I think there should be an adjustment in the awarded points.
Yeah, they're definitely, that's a great thing to bring up. The points will definitely be adjusted. So the DNN EAG leadership, we've been talking about that, and we're going to have a meeting specifically about that. So, there's lots of things that come into play when it comes to gamification and, rewarding points for anything. So, and not just here, just like in any community, whether, there's a lot of lessons about that out there. But one of the things is effort. The other things are, kind of bountying activities. So in some cases, you raise and lower points over time based upon like, okay, we need more activity here. We're getting too much activity in this other area. So that's something that's going to, the points that are on there will constantly be changing. And part of the reason for that is sometimes in communities, well, not sometimes, this always happens. Human beings figure out a way to game the system, whether it's not, that's why it's called gamification, whether or not it's intentional or not. People love to see themselves go up there. And so when people figure out like, okay, here's this thing, and now I'm like jumping up here by leaps and bounds, we might find that like, oh, wait, we didn't see that coming, so now we have to adjust it again. So the points are never going to be the same over, the course of a year or 2 years, right? But you're absolutely right, they do need to be adjusted. The points that are in there right now are not reflective of the true value of your effort. They were all just placeholders until we have that meeting.
Yeah. It's just some things are totally like 1 point for liking a forum post and 1 point for creating a pull request. It's like very, very different efforts.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to talk about the separation between .com and .org, or do we want to take that offline first?
We should take that offline first.
Okay.
All right. Any other topics that anybody wants to bring up? Anything you feel is important? Any thank yous? Any comments you're about to place on a blog somewhere that you want to tell people about?
Thank you to everybody, because you did an awesome job.
Yeah, and the website will never be done. So at any point, if you ever want to help, please do. All right. So at this point, we're going to end the meeting then. Well, we're going to end the recorded part. So if you're watching this online, thank you very much for watching. If you want to help us, you want to get involved, feel free. You can go to the community area on the website and find advisory groups. If it's not already there, it's not there yet. But if, what you'll find here is if you want to get involved in one of these groups, you'll be able to not only be listed, but there will be a form here where you can contact us so we can get you added to all the relevant roles and areas and tools. So thank you so much for watching. I don't know who that is, but that's funny. Thank you. Oh, it must have been Clint. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. That itself is a form of participation, so thank you. Remember to like, comment, and share any of the content you see online. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next month.